Daylight savings.
I know.
Yeah, I can't get used to this time. Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight. Let's open our meeting with a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I only seen half here tonight.
I couldn't get it working.
I'm trying to adjust to the time change. It takes me about 2 weeks to make the shift, so hopefully I'll get through the meeting okay. We're hoping for a short meeting tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Al Titus.
Partly here.
Clerk Dawn Beam, present. Trustee Mike Rushing.
Actually, I'm a
Treasurer, sorry.
Yeah. Here.
See what you did to me, Al? Trustee Dwayne Hagel.
Here.
Trustee Mark Baranowski.
Here.
You don't answer anything, that's what I like about it. All right, we have a public hearing right away tonight.
Yes, we do.
That we need to get into. The annual special assessment roll for fire and rescue protection. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion at 7:01.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion made by Dwayne Hagel, seconded by Mark Baranowski. At 7:02.
7:01.
7:01. All right, our public hearing is now open. We're wondering tonight if there are any comments, concerns, objections, whatever you might have. We will hear those this evening.
I just want to reiterate.
Sure you want to read some of that, Dawn?
Yeah, the Fire Protection and Rescue Special Assessment District has already been previously created at the current millage rate of 0.3 mils. And with this public hearing is continuing on that assessment with no increases in the millage rate that's been previously established, or the district that's been previously established.
All right. Board members have any comments on that before we ask the public? Okay.
And just make a note too, no written comments or objections have been submitted to the clerk's office, so none have been received.
All right, thank you, Doug.
Got a question.
Yes. Question? Sure, Doug.
What are we getting for that, Mills? What are we getting from the ambulance service and the fire service from Memphis, Emmett, whatever?
What are you getting for it?
Yes.
Getting the service of your first responders from the fire departments in the township without a charge to the residents?
For the fire department.
From the fire department? Yes.
The fire department never charged. It was the
Yeah.
township that charged.
Right.
Just to be fair.
Yep.
So basically the same thing from last year. It's just this goes from 1 year, one calendar year, then we vote on it again. It's not a renewal.
What's this other one that we pay, this other,
The new
one
EMS.
for the ambulance service?
Yeah, that's different. You want to talk about that for a minute, Mike?
That's county,
That's a county.
yeah.
County assessment
Oh, that's
for,
county.
for the
Yep.
ambulance services.
We had no choice on that.
We handle the money, we just pass it along.
Collect with your taxes and send
What
it.
do we get for that?
Well, what you've always got. But they get a little more money to help their budget along, and of course they needed that. But that wasn't a renewal of sorts, was it?
No, that was a new millage.
No,
brand new.
That was brand new.
We voted on that in November, did we not?
The electors, yeah,
One
countywide.
thing Richmond Lennox has said for that too is that if you call the ambulance and your insurance does not cover the full thing, they will not be sending a bill for the remainder.
Ah,
Really?
I didn't know that. That's good news. Yeah.
I think it's also Tommy, just by St. Clair, we got one of the lower rates for paying EMS, so we're losing a lot of our talent to other counties. So by having this, they can raise their wages a little bit, be more competitive.
Yeah, yeah. So when we did the special assessment, it helped us a lot because we were constantly trying to collect money to help our contracts with the fire departments that difficult to collect. And so for this special assessment, it didn't create a lot of money from that assessment, but it created enough to help us so that we don't have to bill our residents. We still bill the out-of-township people that use the service, so, but as far as our residents, they don't get a bill on it, so it's helped greatly. Dawn?
Yeah, I just want to, as it was put in the notice for the public hearing, the cost of this service that the township pays for between Memphis and Emmett Fire Department is $109,502 is the cost to the township that we pay. So this a special assessment helps to recoup some of that cost of an approximate $41,235 is what we collect to help cover that 109.
Thank you, Dawn. And my concern is that as costs increase, this won't be adequate down the road somewhere. Memphis didn't increase this much at all, but Emmett is proposing an 8% increase in fire protection over the next 3 years, so we're still trying to swallow that one, and I don't know where that's going to end up, but anyway, that's one of my concerns about not increasing it at all in the future. I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll just have to
Well,
wait and see.
wasn't it originally planned on being about a 50-50 split, to recoup 50% of the cost out of this millage, and right now we're below that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit.
So the next review will come along, we might have to, the board will have to probably seek about increasing that to help balance that back up to the 50% level.
All right, are there any comments tonight? Yes, Doug?
Putting my fire chief's hat on,
Yes.
this assessment is wonderful for us because we go to people's houses now that call 911 and they aren't afraid to let us in the door thinking about the bill
Yeah.
they're going to get. Just as an example, we have a woman in the township we've been to 4 times in the past few days. That would have been a $2,000 bill for her in the past, and now it's not. So fire department wise, it's wonderful. Putting on my residence hat, I've had to use it. I am glad it's there.
Yeah, if you ever have to use it, you'll have no complaints about paying it.
Right.
I've had to use it as well, and it is wonderful, as you said. Yes.
I don't intend on having to use it, but due to someone who's married to a full-time firefighter, maybe it needs to be for residents who do have an issue paying it. Let them understand the fact of what are we currently paying you guys per call?
What do you mean?
Like what is a firefighter's current per call, like pay per call?
$18.
Okay, so $18 to come do whatever the heck you need for however the heck long you need it on my dime. Maybe point that out to people because it could cost them significantly more. And my husband was a volunteer firefighter for a very long time, so this one goes near and dear to heart.
Yeah, it's a great service, and
He still would be if our Armada fire chief would have kept his mouth shut.
so any other comments or concerns tonight about our special assessment while we have the public hearing open? Okay, I'll take that as a no. And is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion at 7:09 to close it.
All right.
I'll second it.
Mark seconds. Closed at 7:09.
Yep.
And we need a motion now to confirm the annual roll for the Fire Protection and Rescue Special Assessment District.
And to adopt the resolution for that.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-14.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right. Wayne Hagel makes the motion. Mark seconds.
I need a roll call on that.
Sure.
Okay. Dwayne Hagel,
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Mike Rushing.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried. All right. Let's back up for just a moment. I
Yeah.
missed guest speakers tonight, and
That was my fault on the agenda.
no, that's fine. And Doug had a couple of words he wanted to share. He's been doing some research on the shooting ordinances around the area. And
Not so much around the area, but for the state in that, and it's so many gray areas, it's just, there's no rules or regulations for target shooting.
okay.
You know, I mean, if you got a business, yes, there's there, but as far as, backstops and that, most of it's just common sense.
Yeah.
Cause I checked with the DNR, I checked with, Blue Water Sportsman's Club and that, and everybody says there's no rules set down by the state of Michigan. So.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need some rules in this township. As you know, we had one fatality 2 years ago here from some careless target shooting, and we don't want another one. So our attorney is researching it as well. We hope to do a workshop, maybe April, May, however.
Yeah,
soon
trying to
we
get through the fiscal year
get
end.
through our year-end stuff, and hope to do a workshop then and start looking at all our options. We just want to know that when people target shoot in this township, they're doing it safely and they're not endangering the neighboring residents.
The Sportsman's Club and that, they had the NRA come in there and one of their builders and design the backstops and all that.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is wherever they're shooting, they have a safe backstop, and often there isn't a safe backstop in places where people are target shooting. And as I said, we've had a number of incidents over the years that we just don't want them.
They probably, because they were an actual established range operating as a commercial business, they had to probably go before that township and have a site plan design of their range and developed that all got approved probably by the township.
True. And it says that the ranges cannot, the zoning restrictions cannot apply to them, but those are designated ranges of which I know of none in our township. So we're working on it. We're going to continue to work on it and see what we can get in place. I think it's long overdue. I know we certainly need it. And
So you're looking to put some sort of standards
some sort
in
of
place?
regulations on target shooting in the township. Number one, a safe backstop. Number two, hours. The hours they can target shoot.
That's already in there, sunrise to sunset.
Is it? Well, that's too broad as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. I'd like to see it much more control than that in the middle of the day or whatever. I don't think people should be out there at 8 a.m. and at dark shooting.
No, well, sunset, during deer hunting seasons, what, 5:30?
Yeah, hunting season's a whole different matter, and the DNR, has the jurisdiction there. But when we call them on these types of incidents, for example, up on Tibbetts, we had a neighbor shooting up there, and the adjacent neighbor with horses, the horses come unglued every time they go out there and start shooting. So, we've got to regulate it by hours and make sure that it's safe. So we'll work toward that and see what we can get in place. But I appreciate your research. Anything you can bring to us and leave with us, we'd appreciate that you found out.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Some kind of backstop regulations would be great, because
Yeah.
we were at a neighbor's house when certain individuals were shooting and their bullet managed to ricochet off of a pond down here, crossed through my neighbor's house, which normally my children and their children are playing in their front yard. It went through their front yard and straight into the other neighbor's pool next door.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an instance.
And based on the bullet we pulled out of the bottom of the pool, that would have easily killed multiple kids had it touched them.
At Dave's house?
Yeah. Yeah.
We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah. Well, and it literally flew right past my car to top it all off. I'm like,
We had some in our.
screw my kids in my car.
We had some.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
Just
have a whole discussion on gun safety.
Yeah, we've seen holes in pole barns, swimming pools, you name it.
I still got a 22 slug in my house. I've had an arrow sticking out of my house. So,
Yeah, so we need to do something with
Yes,
this.
definitely.
We're gonna take a hard look at it and see what we can come up with. All right, let's move on tonight, shall we?
Public comment now.
Public comments? Any citizens here tonight wishing to address the board about anything in particular? Anything specific? Okay, take that as a no. We will move on down our agenda to approval of the consent agenda.
Yep. We have the Riley Township Board minutes from February 14th, the treasurer report, the revenue expenditure report as the end of February, the accounts payable claims report, the payroll report for February, bond permit refund request, and the EMS monthly report and communications received.
All right,
Ooh, yeah, that was a mouthful.
lot there, I'll say. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mark makes the motion
I'll second it.
and supports it. We need a roll call vote.
Yep. Mark Baranowski,
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel,
Yes.
Don Beam, yes. Al Titus,
Yes,
Mike Rushing.
Yes.
motion carried. All right, as we move along tonight, we have our, looks like our budget amendments are next.
Yeah, we have a budget amendment to do. It's a really just an adjusting in the budget area. There's really nothing out of whack or anything. It's just a performance bond fund budget amendment totaling $45,000, basically moving monies from accounts that's not being used and not being hit to the account, the appropriate account that it is being hit to. So it's just an adjustment.
Just shuffling money around.
It's shuffling the budget,
Yes.
not the money.
Okay. Not the money, just the budget.
Just the budget.
All right,
And I'd like to make that motion.
okay.
I'll second it.
I'll make the motion, Mike supports it.
Alrighty.
And we need a roll call on that.
Yes, Don Beam, yes. Mike Rushing.
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes. Motion carried. Approve regular meeting agenda for March 14th.
I do have an addition.
All right.
I passed out a copy. It's a bond reconciliation to add to
Okay.
new business, number 5.
Number 5. Any other additions? Changes? All right, I'll take that as a no. Is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda tonight?
I'll make that motion with that addition.
I'll second.
Wayne Hagel. Mark supports. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Township news and announcements. Annual budget hearing and meeting of the electors to be held Tuesday, March 28th, right here at 7 p.m.
Just want to make one more announcement on there that the Armada School District will be holding a special election on May 2nd. We do have about 400 registered electors at our township, so we will be holding that here at the precinct, and it will be for 1 day only. The 9-day voting period does not apply to special elections.
What is the date on that again?
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
May 2nd, number 2.
Okay.
Is that a Tuesday?
Yes, Tuesday.
All right, committee and departmental reports. Park and Rec Committee.
No meeting.
No meetings held. Next meeting is April 24th. Planning Commission.
Let me see. Approve Richmond Lennox EMS, the site application for the new building at 609 Burnell. Accepted an annual mining permit. And tabled Harmon Oil Company again. And I heard they'll be back again Monday night at a planning commission meeting with another new plan. And the planning commission asked me if the board would recommend if we could get a new zoning map for the township hall.
I do have a map.
Do you?
Yes,
A big one?
a big one, yeah. I'll bring it Monday night. If I can get over here before, where would you want me to put it? Put it
Anywhere.
up on the wall or something.
Wherever,
It's a pretty big map.
wherever it'll fit. I know it's pretty big.
Well, that's half the battle is trying to find it. But you can have it there, but the door would have to be closed.
Yeah, it'll fit right there probably.
Either there or over there, it don't matter.
I'll bring it. I'll try to get it up before.
And I think that's it for planning commission, right, Doug?
I got one other thing.
Sure.
At our last meeting, Pat said she would check on something for us at the county. It was ordinances we had sent there. Later, a few days later, I was told, not by Pat, that that wasn't her job to do. So I'm looking for some guidance of what support we can expect to get from the office staff in the township.
All right.
Well, I just would like to just kind of tie into that, because I was the one that talked with Doug about that,
Okay.
basically. And Pat's role at the planning commission meetings is recording clerk. Just
Sure.
there. She's not a member of the planning commission.
Sure.
So she can't act on behalf of the planning commission.
Okay.
And communications to the at the county level should come from a planning commission member. That's what the secretary position on the as a planning commission member, that's part of their role. Their function is to do all the communications at the direction of the board. And it was not Pat's place to take care of that. The township office is there to help and assist in any with information and gaining information, but they can't act as a planning commission member.
So we need a planning commission member to do what?
The planning commission secretary
Yeah,
is that's
And the
the
planning
role.
commission secretary needs permission from the board to call the county?
No.
Okay.
No. That's part of their role. That's why the planning commission is mandated to have
Secretary.
to have a secretary to handle those communication
What about when we have
functions.
special hearings and letters have to be sent out to residents for that? Who does that?
That actually is Pat. That's part of her role. So she handles the
That's where it
public
gets-
hearing.
It's-
But she handles the she handles the public hearing from that, because that's part of the clerk's office role, and to making sure that the public hearings get posted and published. Now, the planning commission directs and schedules the public hearings, and then we have a standardized format for the public hearings that get used to be posted at the buildings and published in the newspapers, because there's mandated requirements that need to take place with public hearings. So that's why it's part of the clerk's office role to be able to make sure that those are met.
So you're saying when somebody actually represents the planning commission,
Mhm.
like for example, interacting with the county, it has to be a planning member.
Yes, because the planning commission is a separate board from any other office. They act as their own entity.
Right.
And the township office cannot act on their behalf. They can help assist in gaining information, general information, but they can't ask for information on behalf of, as acting as a member. Especially, I think the communication was relating to action that the planning commission is making relating to the ordinances that they're reviewing.
Okay. So that would be the secretary of the planning commission's
Yes.
responsibility.
Yes. That's the previous secretary did that. As when I filled that role, I did that as a secretary as well, so.
Okay. But Pat does the other.
Pat does the recording of the minutes.
Okay.
She is there at the meetings to record the minutes and also,
Public hearing notices.
and the public hearing notices as under my direction.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who writes the minutes?
Pat does, and then I approve them.
Okay. It does get complicated to sort out the different
Now,
jobs.
when I was secretary of the planning commission, I wrote my own minutes.
That was back in antiquity.
Couldn't read them.
Well, the planning, yeah, well, it's
Couldn't
fine.
be a lot.
If the planning commission would like to take that role over, and then the secretary can assume those positions,
I don't want it.
can assume that then.
Yeah.
So we did this as, the clerk's office did the recording clerk part, when I stepped away and took this role.
Sure.
And, if the planning commission wants to take that back, fine. Just say it and we can make it happen.
Okay.
But it's in the best interest of the township to have a recording clerk there, but
Sure.
making sure that there's not a misunderstanding of what the recording clerk's role is at that meeting.
All right, I understand it, I think. What you, Doug?
Play it by ear, I guess.
Clear
Still didn't answer your
clear as
question.
mud, huh? All right.
So then who is the secretary of the planning commission?
Oh, we have that.
We know who
Yeah.
that is. We're good on that.
So I think that's it from planning commission.
All right. All right. Zoning Board of Appeal, there was no meetings held.
No meeting.
Building Department, have you got anything for us tonight, Doug?
Yeah, I got, the EMS was finalized out, the building up there.
Oh, they were final?
Yeah, I got, it's all finalized out. now,
Great.
All inspections.
Very nice
Well,
building.
the township found like some violation letters which they're complying with, we had some violations of the township.
Yeah, you were telling me there's some that you're working with.
They're complying with it, so.
Okay, good,
No
good.
problem with that right now.
All right.
And I heard that Soma sold that mechanic shop.
That
on
is
19th.
correct.
The Creditman?
Yes, that's what I've been told. And all the junk cars are gone already, which I was surprised it'd take that long to get them out of there. But,
What does he plan on doing with that, you know?
he hasn't said a word to me about what his intentions are. He just had so many problems with the operation that was there and his home care facility next to it that he decided to buy it. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see on what he intends to use it
If you
for.
change the use, you have to go in front of the planning commission.
Yes, yes, he
Whatever
will.
they're gonna be doing, I don't know.
Correct. Doug?
Well, I used to live, we lived next door to that for
Right.
years, and I don't think they ever pulled the gas tanks out of the ground there either.
Okay.
I think they're still in the ground.
Okay.
I think they might have put sand in them, but
Yeah.
that would be.
Well, we'll let the DEQ.
Don't tell anybody that.
We'll let the
I
DEQ
won't
deal
tell-
with that.
I won't say nothing.
Millions.
All right, ordinance enforcement, Kyle, are you getting your feet wet yet?
It's getting something.
I One of
Right
my-
to one, I think it'd be easier for him to just come in and claim it as a junkyard, but
Okay.
there's, you guys got quite an issue around here.
One of my most familiar callers called me the other morning, and I have to say it was a pleasure to forward your number to him.
Unfortunately, I've never heard from him. so,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anyway, you will, I'll guarantee it. But you're getting a little bit of idea what you're gonna have to contend with?
Yep. So out of the 7 that we have judgment for, I believe 2 of them have complied since.
Okay.
I spent most of Saturday with Pat. Pat's been doing an excellent job recording everything in the
Well, I want to give them an update on what we did for you, too, because what we did was, since Kyle has a background in BSNA, is we actually set up a computer specific for him. I was looking at a laptop that we currently had to see if that would be able to be usable for him, and on the phone all day with IT about it, and they were like, nope, that laptop needs to be decommissioned. It's not suitable for that. So I did some searching and came across a desktop, a refurbished desktop computer. We had a monitor, we had keyboard, we had a mouse available, but I was in the market trying to find a desktop that we'd be able to use without a huge expense, and found one refurbished, the exact same model what we are currently using in our office for $164.
Nice. Right?
So to set him up in his own computer station and everything, it's been less than $500 because we had to buy the Microsoft license, and the tech people came out and worked on the desktop, getting it all set up. The idea is to have him be able to dial into that laptop. That's what the tech people recommended, so that way he doesn't have to come into the office. He can dial into it to access the BSNA. He's very experienced with the BSNA module, more so than we are in the office. That's one of the last things that we've been able to really get a handle on, and we're hoping that Kyle's really going to be able to guide us on some areas that we're not using the system for. So the desktop is all up and running. And since when the tech guy was there to set up his computer, our firewall died. So we've been experiencing some internet issues and stuff. Well, mostly because of the firewall box has been dying. It's probably been dying for some time. So while the tech person was there, it died and shut down because he couldn't get your email set up on the desktop when that happened. So they came out on Monday and fixed up the replaced the firewall box for us. First thing Monday morning, they took care of that right away. So because I already put it into place and I already bought it and stuff, do you want me to make a motion then to approve the ordinance enforcement officer's computer setup for $500?
Yes.
I will make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion support. You want a roll call on that?
Yes, since it's money.
Okay.
Hold on, let me Okay. Okay. Roll call. Don BM, yes. Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Thank
Motion
you.
carried.
So yeah, so we got them all set up, and Pat has been working diligently in getting the OEO files from Fred into the system. Kyle came in and worked with us and showed us how to get it all set up into the system, and ever since then, Pat's been working great and trying to upload all the photos and the paper files and getting it into the BSNA system as it should be, which is really, really, really nice. And I know.
She's calling me on some of the old cases that have already been closed, but we see the BSNA thing as a huge plus, don't you?
It is, because that's what that system is intended for. But unfortunately, the township hasn't had a staff member that is been capable of accessing it and using it.
Yes.
Number one, we didn't have a computer specifically set up for them. We relied on OEOs who use their own personal computer, and they didn't really have access to the BSNA system because they didn't have the knowledge or the technological background to be able to do it.
What's that acronym stand for, do you know?
Business Solutions and Applications, something like that.
It's used by many, if not most of
It's
the
a governmental applications company, so they're geared toward government agencies, governmental agencies,
Yeah.
and they have several different modules, and one of them is the building department module, which is specifically for building permits and enforcement.
Okay.
So it's a pretty huge application. We've been primarily using it for the building permit section, none of it for the enforcement part, except for the few stop work orders that Doug does. So the whole enforcement side of it, we've never used.
Okay.
So now we're scrambling to pretty much take all of our paper files like this
Yes.
and uploading all the pictures into the BSNA system. So when you go to that property, you pull up that property and you see the enforcements and the pictures and all the notes and all the records are right
History.
there. And even if it changes or property owners, you're going to see that history that's been on that property.
Okay. Also, Kyle's been working on finding contractors.
Yes, so he submitted a whole bunch of contractors, so a couple of them late, that's where I gave you 2 copies that came in a little bit late
Yes.
after I got the packets done.
Yeah, do we have to make a determination on these contractors and tonight?
Well,
Or is this-
yes, we should, but we're not going to, my understanding is, talking with Kyle, we can't really just limit us to just one contractor to do all the blight because one may not be available.
Right.
Should we set an amount and budget for that, and then pick and choose who we want to do the
Well, it's going to
work
be
and
up
the
to,
services?
it should
Is
be up
that-
to Kyle.
Is that how you?
Basically, a lot of these, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go out to this property.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a truck way out in the field. One guy might not be able to do that or have the resources to get back
I
there.
got you.
So now he's gotta bring in a skid steer or four-wheeler, whatever it may be, just to get this truck onto some kind of drivable pavement where he can use his tow truck. So I went out, I found 6 companies, 3 of them are towing, basically blight vehicles, and the other 3 are like junk and rubbish. The junk rubbish people, they're actually gonna have laborers standing by, just throwing stuff in this garbage can
In the dumpsters.
when the homeowner is with the sheriff department. It's a very unpleasant sight, the guy is very mad, but that's how things get done.
Yeah.
I understand where the aspect of some of them are higher, but there shouldn't be a limit. It
Yeah,
needs
well-
to be,
It's technically going to be your call.
it's gonna be
Going-
my call
going to
and the
be-
availability of the contractor being able to come out there on the day that we get judgment. I'm looking at some of these judgments, we had a judgment back in February of 21, an entire year ago, that we never acted on.
Right. But from a board standpoint, do we have to set a monetary amount and then just say
I'd say
The
let's see
thing
how
is,
it-
I mean, how many months does
I
it go
don't-
along until it gets to this point?
Exactly.
They've gotten warning after warning after
I
warning.
think we just need to approve that these contractors are approved to be able to use it.
That we can use.
That we
Okay.
can
Put them in a
use.
file
I
and
got
just
you.
choose as we go through them.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
each
then that way
mount-
we have a record of them.
Each site may cost a different amount to clean up,
Sure.
depending on what's there.
Everybody's got their own little niche.
Right.
Every
So-
every issue's different. I haven't found one that's going to be the same.
Okay.
So I think we just need to approve the contractors.
Do we have to go through each and every contractor to approve those?
I think we can just do a bulk, because these are all that have been submitted as,
Okay.
as presented,
I agree.
and do it as a bulk
Give them as a group.
approval.
Okay.
The group, for him to be able to use.
Yeah.
If there's for some reason down the line, if there's none of these contractors work out, we need a new one, then we can bring that contractor to,
I can call Mark.
Mhm.
Every one of these guys are.
Well, this
some
is,
of them had experience with dealing with government. It's not
this
easy.
is gonna streamline everything. It's gonna just
Mhm.
give it to you.
They'll have no choice anymore. So I'll
Exactly.
be able to go on the property with
Right.
that contractor. I'll tell
Okay.
that contractor to go to town.
And the sheriff will be the buffer.
Okay.
Now, I'm wondering though, we might be, do they, just because I'm new to this area, but we should be able to recoup those costs on the
Oh, yeah.
property.
Yes.
Put a
So-
lien on the property.
Yeah.
Initially, it's gonna cost us, but then we would seek to recoup those costs from that.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
now that answers Mark's question about the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You guys would ultimately pay out the contractor, and then
Mm-hmm.
you would take that purchase or whatever, and then push it onto their taxes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't want to pay the
You're
taxes
just
in
you're
two-
paying the
after 2 years.
contractor, and then just push the money
Right.
towards the
Okay.
resident.
If they don't
Okay.
pay it after
Yep.
2 years, then the county steps in, they foreclose on the property,
Oh,
then they
okay.
make
I
us
got
whole.
you. Yep.
So it's really helping them along to become compliant before it gets to that point.
Exactly.
I don't
Can't,
think we
can't
can-
fight the government.
I don't think we can actually put it on their property taxes. I think we can just lien the property. We can put a lien on the
However,
property.
yeah.
Yeah, and eventually we'll collect it.
I don't know how
That's
to
how
word
we're
it.
gonna
I'll make this.
Okay, so make the motion to, you're gonna make the motion to approve the contractors as presented
Okay.
for the ordinance enforcement officer to use.
To use at his discretion
At his
for,
discretion.
violations.
And I
How's
will
that?
never be able to do it without judgment of the court.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only
Okay.
time I'll ever
Correct.
be able to use
Yep.
this.
Okay, so Mark, you're making that motion.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there support?
I'll second it.
All right, Wayne supports it. Probably want a roll call on this as well, don't I?
Oh, it wouldn't hurt, sure.
Yeah, that's what I say. When in doubt, roll it out. That's how I learned at MTA.
Let me make sure I have everybody here. Okay, Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Dawn Buell, yes. Al Titus.
Yes,
Mike Rushing.
Yes.
motion carried. All right, moving on to roads. Mark and I attended the St. Clair County Road Commission
Yep.
annual meeting. And they do have some new programs in place. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
They do have some new programs in place. One is going to substitute the last year's program of 80-20, which is where we get 2 miles of limestone with it, Dwayne or Mark?
Yeah, yep.
And we pay,
Well,
we pay
it's gotta be
5,000.
continuous, it's gotta be a continuous
Right.
spread of material.
We pay 5,000,
Can't
the
be a
county
spot.
pay 80.
Yep.
This year they're doing is it 30-20?
No, it's 70-30,
70-30.
so
This year
they're
doing a
catching up
70-30.
70.
And we found out at the meeting that Riley Township has more gravel roads
Yeah, we've got the most in the county
in
now.
St. Clair County,
Well,
57 miles.
Over 57 miles.
We're
number one.
No,
I wish we were. But
driving
the
down these roads.
70-30, you want to explain how that's going to work, Mark?
They said it was. Let's see. I'll take ours. So it's
We're going to qualify for 35 loads
right.
train loads
35 loads. So
of limestone.
this is the county is going to put in $31,600. Our share, 30% of that, is $13,543,
Right.
and that total is $45,143.
And that's quite a bargain for the township because a train load costs around $1,000 to $1,200 for a train load of stone.
Correct.
And we're going to get 35 loads
Yes.
for $13,000.
Yeah.
So, I think we definitely want to take
Yep.
advantage of it.
And,
So that's what that means, loads available, 35.2?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna get for the if we.
if we do this,
participate in
if we do the
70/30.
70/30.
Yes.
I have a question,
Yes.
just looking at the cost per ton as they have on this list. Every township has a different price, cost per ton. How do they come up with that number?
That's probably the distance traveled from
Yeah.
Okay.
the supply yard.
Gotcha.
That's the
Thank you.
mileage they have figured.
That they
out.
added.
And I did question them about a surcharge this year for fuel, which we got whacked last year around, I think it was $6,000.
Yeah.
They
darn
said
near
there
6.
won't be a surcharge this year.
How many loads we get last year?
Around 100, wasn't it, Dwayne?
Oh, we had 130 marked down.
130?
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
35, how many, 35 loads you got?
Yeah, 35.
But that's all for the township now, you're gonna have more.
Oh, we'll
Oh,
have
no,
more.
that's
133 loads last year.
133, we'll have more loads.
Yeah, this
Once
is
we
just
do our road trip.
from this particular program.
Yeah, that's just for this program.
So what's
And
the
then
intended
97
use
in
of it?
2021.
No, but
We said pick 2 miles to drop it at. So
Right.
pick the 2 worst miles.
The others, we have to pay out complete 100% out of pocket.
Does it have to be continuous this year, Mark, as well?
They said you can break it up.
Yeah, last year was, we thought it was 2 continuous miles, but you can do a mile here and a mile.
Okay.
Yeah, they just don't want it spot.
Right, like we can do with the other roads.
Right, exactly. We can put those wherever we want. Which,
And the most traveled gravel road in the township, 2 of them, Hill and Dunn, get the most traffic according to the county. So that's where we try to do something on those roads every year if possible.
Now, would it be advantageous of us to try to allocate more funds to ditching in those areas where those roads aren't beat up quite as bad with the rain?
Well, we get there, we can still get there 10,000.
there is
Without
ditching there, but the water just sits because there's no fall.
We'll have to
there's
determine
no
that on the road
natural
trip.
Water course.
When we get out there in April
Yeah.
1st.
Yep.
So we can determine what we need then.
Another one of my big concerns is our large projects, normally which are crossroad culverts.
Yeah.
And we have 4 that are on kind of the watch list. And also, I specifically asked them the bridge over Bell River Road. It was built in 1934. They're going to do some
Braidwood Road Bridge?
or Braidwood Road,
Yeah.
excuse me, Braidwood Road. And I asked them approximately how long we have before that's going to need to be totally replaced, and they said approximately 5 years, because that is going to be a lot of money.
And we won't be able to use
So we're gonna-
the final thing for that.
Right.
We will be
But
applying for.
that's 5 years down the road, but we have 4 that they told us about.
And we'll be applying for state and federal grants through the county for that
Right.
Braidwood Road Bridge. We have to have a 2-year lead time on those applications, which we have lots of time to get that in place. But the new bridge here in Riley Center Road cost $1.3 million, and
Yeah.
the township paid almost nothing for that bridge because of the state and federal money. So we hope to be able to do the same thing on Braidwood Road when the time comes. We'll see how that all works out. Mark, was there any other thing there that came
no.
out of the meeting that we needed to mention tonight?
No, the only thing that popped out of into my head again was the dispute with DEQ with using application of chloride. There's 2 different types of chloride. There's mining chloride, that mining fields, and then there's more of a natural chloride.
Some comes out of salt wells with the oil rigs,
Yeah.
the other comes out of the ground with actually out of wells.
Yeah, so they said the DEQ doesn't want us putting it within 100 feet of a water source. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
That's the
All your ditches
that's
have-
the salt brine that comes
have
out of
water
wells.
in.
If we use what comes
Right.
out of the wells that the county has,
Yeah.
we don't have that requirement.
right,
We don't have to-
as of right now, but
Yeah.
Is
I
it
mean-
chemically the same though?
No,
No,
chemical
no.
difference in it.
petroleum based versus a mineral based.
Yeah.
That's all.
So we do, this year we will continue to get the
Yep.
$39,815 match and the $10,000 ditching, which is generally we get every year. Then we'll get $5,758 drain money or drain carryover, so we can appropriate that for drains or berm, whatever we want. But we'll have to get out on the road trip April 1st and see what we think we're going to need. We way overspent our budget last year.
Yeah.
And we can't do that again this year. We had ARPA money to spend last year and did 2 bridges, and our share was over $200,000 with Braidwood was $150,000. Eagling was 70-some thousand, I believe. So hopefully we won't have any major culvert systems fail this year. If we do,
So
I
with
don't
that
know
being
where
said,
the
without
money's coming from.
hopefully any, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be some culverts. Can we bump the loads up more this year because we don't have those two big projects?
I don't know, our budget's gonna be tight on the roads this year. Don and I have looked at it 2 or 3 times, and Mike, and I think we're gonna have to do way less than we did last year. We just don't have the money there for it.
I mean,
So-
just so we know when we're on this road trip.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a big difference. In 2021, we did 97 loads. Last year, we did 133. So when we're driving around, it's like, we kind of got to know.
yeah, I think we gotta keep
Yeah.
it
Well, it's
under
in
100
your
loads.
budget, you got the proposed budget, so that those numbers and everything are all in there.
Yeah, we'll
That's
look
what I
at
was
the budget
saying.
in
Well,
2
we
weeks.
can tap into the ARPA a little bit more, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we
Is
have 109,000 remaining.
What do we have yet, Don?
109,000 remaining.
What do with all that money?
That's not much.
It went on the road, it went to the
On the
roads.
roads
It's a
and
big
bridges.
project.
150,000 went on that one bridge.
I could bring out my little graph pie chart again and show you.
That don't last long.
20,000 in standby generators for
The-
this building and the
The bulk
office.
of our
Yeah.
spending has all been on the
New roof
road.
there, $16,000.
That don't last long.
We need to.
Yeah, we got about a year and a half to allocate the last of those, which I don't think will be an issue.
No.
As far as these large culvert suggestions, you think we can get any more grant money for those?
I doubt it, because I think those are all just classified as culverts. So we might get some local road assistance on them. Yeah, I usually apply for the local road assistance, so we might get some of that. We have scrapped the approach projects on Dunn Hill Road right now until we see what kind of loads of stone we need on our road trip. But we've put those on hold because those were $45,000, I believe, and we just don't have the money for those this year. Maybe another year we will.
I'm just wondering if we can talk to the road commission, let them know, like, hey, we got 109,000 left.
Yeah,
Can you
they-
do these 4 projects if we write you a check?
They still have the large culvert
Wow.
project, and they'll help us on those with the local road assistance, but
It's almost 300,000 right here.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one project would just gobble the remaining of the.
Yeah.
We don't, it's nice, the roads are a need, they're a big part of our budget. But the use of the ARPA funds, I think we need to look at other needs, because I have a need that's later on our agenda.
Yeah, we do. We do. We gotta be careful about spending the rest of that money.
But there may be other needs, that come up that we are not aware of,
Right.
besides the roads, later on down the line, something may happen. We wanna be careful, but we don't wanna use up all the ARPA funds just for one cost center.
No. I think we should wait on these culverts and do them as they fail.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see us trying to do them ahead of time.
So we got, what,
Culverts is-
19 months to allocate those funds?
They kill our road budget, they really do.
Mhm.
They take so much money away from the limestone that we could put down. But what are you gonna do if a culvert fails? You gotta replace it, or the road gets closed for an indefinite period of time.
There was one, was it done last year, or year before, that we had waited another year and a half or something?
Yeah.
To stretch it out?
Yeah, we did. You went out and looked at that one.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah, we walked them, yeah.
Tibbetts Road was the other one?
Yeah. We got out and,
Because I had asked, Mark was still here, and I said, what happens if it caves in? He said, we just close the road. I said, well, that's what we're gonna wait for then.
Yep.
well,
And
a lot
they
of
made it
times,
another
a
2
lot of
years.
times they can put, if
Yeah.
it's not crazy, they can fill it with
Yeah, we put steel
With a
plates
3-inch
over the one on Boardman Road there by the
driveway.
dentist's office for a number of years before we had to replace that. So, yeah, there's fixes you can put on them to keep it going a little longer, so we'll wait on those and see how we come out on our road trip and what kind of loads we're gonna need for our 57 miles of gravel roads.
Well,
All
hopefully
right.
we'll get the, from the county, maybe they will see ways of sharing some of their county ARPA funds with their
Yes.
townships.
Yes, that's a hope, for sure. Well, let's move on tonight. Order of business, unfinished business. We're gonna table this firearms, weapon, and hunting ordinance draft again until we can get a workshop in place. So I'll make a motion to table that.
I'll second.
Support, Mark supports. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. And moving down then to new business, lawn care services for 2023 season.
Yeah.
Do we need a board action on that? So
Yes,
you can
yes,
get-
we do, just so we can post it and publish it.
All right.
So you, in your packets, you have the notice that we will be posting. The pictures won't go in the paper, obviously, but everything else will be. So we need to think about our lawn care services for,
I'll make a motion to post, public and, publish and post notice to request for bids for lawn care services for 2023 season.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and support. Any other discussion? You want a roll call on this, Don?
no, just all in favor is
All
fine.
in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving down to number 2,
Yeah.
Lone Cemetery Maintenance for 2023 proposals.
Yep, received, Charlie took care of us last year, so she submitted in 2 proposals, hoping to be able to do what she did for us another year. Outlined, the regular maintenance is in 1 proposal, and for the regular maintenance of Lone Cemetery, which is mowing and weeding, whacking up to two times a month through the months of April through October, pick up and remove trash, litter, fallen branches, supply and replace worn and missing flags on veterans' graves, supply and place wreaths on veteran graves for the month of December in honor of wreaths across America, at a monthly charge of $180. And this does not include any repairs or cleaning in that particular proposal. The other proposal, they would like to clear out small trees and low-hanging branches at a total cost of $1,200. What it is with the smaller trees and everything as they low hang, that's what causes the damages on the gravestones and causes them to discolor and moss build up. The more light that they can bring into the cemetery will help keep that at bay. They really wanted to kind of do that last year, but
Yeah, I had met her
Maybe.
out there, I think November, or just before Christmas. And she told me what her plans were to do, just thin them out some more, somebody gets into that cemetery would help those stones out a lot. Well, just submit something to the township, so.
yep, she did.
And I did talk to her last week, 2 weeks ago, and told her that we do own Tibbetts Road, and she started crying. She goes, "You gotta be kidding me." She goes, "When can I get in there?" I said, "Not tomorrow."
I did question the county about that backstop that's in the right-of-way. He's gonna go out and explain to the resident there that it has to be removed. So once that's removed, then we'll have access in and out of there.
She's really excited to get in there.
I know
she's been in there before looking
That's
at
her
it, but-
passion, yeah.
Yeah.
She loves doing that, but I would like to make the motion to accept both proposals received from Heaven's Touch Grave Care Services for Lone Cemetery Maintenance Services for the 2023 season in the amount of $180 per month, and to clear out the small trees and low-hanging branches in the amount of $1,200.
I'll second it. Oh,
Go ahead, you can have it.
Dwayne, okay.
All right, we have a motion and support. Just in the way of discussion, how many months does that run for? Would that be 6 months or?
It says April through October, so that's the main bulk of the growing season.
But then you also have the gravestones, they're the blankets in December.
Right. Well, that's That's included in that price. That's not a monthly, she's already
Gotcha.
automatically going to do that as part of the, even though it's a different month.
Question?
Did you ever get the cameras up?
Yep.
Did you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, found out who was in and out of there causing the problem and took care
I
of it.
think within 3 days,
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
got a
Yep.
hold of the sheriff, and I mean, within like 2 hours, had the guy identified, so.
Good.
Yeah, that's,
So my boys helped Mike and I, we all went out there and put the cameras up. So my boys knew where they're at.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple days later, they're out riding their four-wheelers or whatever, we'll stop. They're doing this in the camera. Well, Mike sends me their pictures. So I ask my boys, is this you guys in that camera?
Live, as soon as it gets motion, I get notification. It's like, no, it's not a threat. Whoa, call the sheriff.
boys will be boys.
We need a roll call.
Yes, go ahead, Don.
Okay, Dawn Beam, yes. Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes,
Mike Rushing.
Yes.
motion carried. All right, moving on to the annual resolution amendments, plural.
Oh, yeah. All this is resolution number 2023-08A is, we found that the ordinance enforcement officer was included in the original resolution that we made in February, last month, right? So it was cheaper for us to actually provide him with his own phone, like we do with Doug Wendland's through T-Mobile for Governmental Services. We get the phones for free as a government agency, so the phones themselves are at no cost to the township, but we do have to keep them for 2 years, and our monthly cost is less than the monthly stipend, basically. So this resolution is to remove him off of that business expense reimbursement because we are now providing him with the phone.
What is the monthly cost on those?
It's like $41 by time we, yeah, it's really, really
Very reasonable.
very reasonable. And he has, not the latest and greatest, but he has an iPhone. So he has a $650 phone, brand new iPhone. I forget which version is it. I'm trying to think what I don't know, 13 or something. 13, the iPhone 13, basically. And it's all set up for him, so that way when he's contacting and calling back on any calls, it says Township of Riley and not his personal cell phone. For that position, it's in the best interest for him to have more.
Privacy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yep, absolutely. So this business expense reimbursement is just removing his stipend off of this since we're providing and paying for the phone separately for him to use.
Do you want to do these separately? A and B?
Well, this is number 8, so we have to do them separately.
Okay.
So we need to do a roll call. I need a motion to approve resolution 2023-08A for the business expense reimbursement.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
No, I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and support.
Okay, roll call is Dwayne Hagel,
Yes.
Mike Rushing,
Yes.
Al Titus,
Yes,
Mark Baranowski,
Yes.
Dawn Beam, yes.
motion carried. And number B.
Yeah, and the other one is an amended established fee schedule resolution that we passed it back in February at the meeting. So this resolution 2023-12A, established fee schedule. After the fact, it was brought to my attention that there were some fees that were left off the original resolution pertaining to the extension of the renewal request. So in bold, you'll see permit extension fee, all those are highlighted. That was inadvertently left off of the original resolution. So that's,
We're just adding that one.
yeah, so those fees are added onto the resolution
Okay.
for that there. And then, yeah, that's it.
All right.
Because that was missed the first time around, even though we looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and then those still got missed.
All right, is there a motion to approve B?
I'll make the motion to approve number 2023-12A established fee schedule as printed.
I'll second.
All right. If there's no further discussion, we'll ask Don to do a roll call.
Mike Rushing,
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Dawn Beam, yes. Al Titus.
Yes, motion carried. All right, moving on to number 4, election equipment request.
Yeah, I've been kind of waiting last year, we had the lease tabulator for the AV board last year, because to purchase one, even though we had the ARPA funds, there were none available to purchase. So our only option was to lease a tabulator for the 2022 election cycle. So I recently received notice now from Election Source, who we use, that tabulators are now available. Partly why they weren't available last year was we knew that there were going to be changes made to the tabulators, enhanced security to the tabulators were going to be made, and now that's where this quote is here. I'm kind of conflicted with the changes with Proposal 2 that is kind of coming. I know I need to have at least one tabulator that I want to replace, that I want to purchase. I was hoping to also do one for an AV board, but I just don't know for sure if it's going to be necessary or not. I don't want to miss the opportunity either to have 2, because if we wait, it may not be available, because I think every precinct in the state of Michigan is going to be purchasing tabulators.
Yeah. So what do you
For
do?
the chance of, because I like the idea of the AV board, having the AV board. They have to have their own separate tabulator. We still own our current tabulator that we do have. Would that be sufficient enough, even with the changes and requirements and stuff? Probably. But ideally, I don't know how many more years we're going to get out of that.
Didn't we have issues with that at the last election?
That was the leased one. That was the
Okay.
one that we were leasing, that we had the issues with the precinct. So yeah, I don't want to lease another one.
No.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Yeah.
How much is it lease per year?
3,000
Phew.
per election.
Okay.
Per
The
election?
second question would be how long do these things last?
That's what I was wondering about.
Good
Well, like I
question.
said,
I
it
mean,
depends
as
on,
technology changes.
technology is always changing.
Could they
They're
say
they're
next year
essentially,
that these are outdated?
well, not that long. I want to say our current tabulators we've had probably over 5 years, 5 years or maybe more. I have to really look back in the records. But over time, as their usage, what we had issues with the leased one is that usage, we just had that debris. Paper has a lot of debris. And that was their determination, was that there was just some kind of debris that was lodged in there preventing the ballots to be scanned, and then they had to be dropped in. All ballots were scanned, but after the polls closed, then they ran through. They made an emergency run out here, provided the maintenance, so it all took care of.
So you're basically saying as long as we can use this for 2 voting cycles, it more than pays for itself.
Yes.
Kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yep. So I know, I definitely need one. I would like to get the approval for 2, but I don't know if I'm going to purchase 2. But I would like to have, until I get more information coming from the state as to how this 9-day thing is going to work. But I don't want to be missing the boat, waiting on approval to purchase it, whether or not I use it or not. And we can use this for the ARPA funding.
That's what I was going to ask.
So that would take about, purchase of 2 tabulators would take, let's see here, this per tabulator cost, because this isn't just the cost of the tabulator, but it's also the cost of the other equipment that comes with it, and then the firmware and the software that it all comes with. We do have to pay an annual maintenance fee on each of these tabulators. So the initial setup cost is $5,650 per tabulator.
Ouch.
So, yeah.
I've got a question about.
Well, that's pretty much,
$3,000.
and actually, this really isn't that much more expensive than what I think we paid last time. I want to say it was around 4 or something was the tabulator that we actually have.
How is the tech support going to be with this?
That's through Election
Okay,
Source.
Okay, so
Yes, that's where here you see after first year.
everything is.
Yep, on the very last
Election
item
Source
for the
will still come in.
425.
Okay.
That's the annual maintenance service warranty,
Oh,
election day
okay.
support, so
Okay,
that's.
so that's all wrapped into.
That's all wrapped into
Okay,
that,
okay.
yeah.
Don, who sells them?
Election Source is our vendor for all the election equipment. Yep. And they're phenomenal. Like when we had the issue on election day, they come out on the spot on election day and take care of it for us. They do our testing our public accuracy testing as well. They're just great people to work with.
So it's like 5,600 to purchase it, and then like another, what, $600 a year for maintenance?
Yeah.
$425,
Yeah, that's what I was
think.
gonna say. After the initial
Oh, yeah, the license
cost, it's gonna
agreement,
be
yeah.
a little over $600 a year to.
Yep, and that's
run
what we're
them.
paying now for the current tabulator, so.
Versus 3,000 per election. You could have, what, three
I
elections
think it's
in
great
one year.
for-
Well, we could, potentially, yes.
Three-
Just
You
the
could
question
have
is if
three
we
We
elections.
could have
to-
3 elections in 1 year.
Happened before.
Yeah, it
Does it have to
has.
be the same model and everything as what we have, or is it?
Well, it's the same brand, not the same model, so that's,
So
that's
what
why I
we have
gave
is a
you,
dinosaur, and this is
yeah.
new age.
Yep, this is where I gave you the picture of it. That's the picture of the new model, basically. It's the upgraded dual-core processor. It scans double-sided ballots in 3 to 5 seconds, so it's a lot faster. The little display is color and a little bit larger, maybe easier to read, not so just a plain Jane digital kind of thing.
Slices and dices thousands of julienne fries in minutes.
So
Yeah.
your request here is to purchase 2 of them.
Up to 2, so it'd be double
Up
what's
to
on.
2. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I would like to do. I'd like to make that motion to accept quote number 541 received from Election Source to purchase 2 ImageCast precinct security enhanced tabulators, one for the in-person precinct, one for the AV counting board, as presented for a total cost of $11,298.40, using remaining ARPA funds that are available.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion to support. That's the only question I had was, does it qualify for ARPA money?
It does.
If you want to use it.
Oh, yeah.
I have one other question. Will we be able to take our old tabulator and sell it?
Good question. I want to explore that idea, because if I can sell it back to an election source and then they can
They can
use that,
refurbish it or whatever.
and they can lease that out to another precinct that might be able to use it.
Purchase of your other one.
Right, exactly. But I have to, I haven't had a chance to ask them that. But yeah, there's no reason for us to hang on to that one,
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I love updating, getting new
because we
technology.
can't use it as a backup on election day because they have to be tested. And if it's not tested at the public accuracy testing, it's obsolete.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right, we have a motion and support. If there's no other discussion, we'll do a roll call vote.
Don Beam, yes. Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Motion carried. We have an add-on tonight, number 5, a bond.
Yep. Yeah, this is we've been working on bond reconciliation. This is something that came from the auditors. The performance bond reconciliation hasn't been done for a number of years pre-me, before me. And that's something that our auditors have been marking us on all our past since, I want to say since 2018, something like that. So we've been working on reconciling the reconciliation is with the bank account, with the BSNA system, and making sure that the monies that we're holding match the bank account and the BSNA system. When I first started, it was really big learning curve and trying to figure out who has what. The reports are not very easy in the BSNA building permits reports to kind of get a picture of what our things were. And at our last audit, the auditors recommended to us drawing a line with April 1st, starting from there. So that's pretty much what we did. We built an Excel spreadsheet, so that way as a building permit comes in, we log it into BSNA, but we also have an Excel spreadsheet that we log it into. Now we're finally at that point where we can look at everything, look at our bank statement, look at our Excel spreadsheet, finally get run a report in BSNA, and everything matches except for $250 we're off. So we've done everything. Heather has been great in working and trying to find, permits that were open, from the start and the get-go, and identifying them, and right from the get-go. And everything is all reconciled, and There's just $250. My guess is, and that's the cost of one single permit.
Yeah.
So my bet is it got forfeited somewhere down the line, me in this position.
Right, right.
And basically all what we need to do is transfer $250 out of that, the bank for the performance bonds and put it into the general fund. Forfeit that $250 from that bank account and put it into the general fund
Balance it.
to balance it.
Are all these bonds in a separate account? A separate, the
Bank
building-
account?
All the building bonds, is that money all in a separate account?
The bonds are in a separate bank account. And
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, they are in a separate bank account. And when Mike does his, like, reports, that's where you see the ordinance 29, that dollar amount.
I got you.
So on this spreadsheet that I give you, basically, that includes the bank statement ending balance. And then the Excel spreadsheet, I didn't make copies for all of you guys, but you guys want to look at it, you can. Let me find it here. Oops.
We've always kept them in a separate account, I just.
Yes,
was asking
they have
if
to be,
it's
because
still
those are monies that are held by, that we're holding.
there. Right.
And we can't collect it.
And we can't collect it, yeah, exactly. So this is the spreadsheet that is created in Excel for us to keep track. And then as they're held, this column here is open. So we record all the bond money that we collect, when it was collected. And then when it's returned, then that money is entered into another column, returned. So I'm able to incorporate that into this reconciliation sheet. So you see here, the total bonds that we've received is this amount, less the total bonds that are in the returned amount, which is a separate column. And then there were bonds that are received in March, which is $500. This reconciliation is as of the bank statement at the end of February. So there's already monies going in deposited from permits that came in March. And that's where now we have the remaining bonds held balance of this amount. And then our last piece of the puzzle that we kind of did was in the BSNA system was we were able to run the report and reconcile the report, make sure that this number that we have here in the BSNA report is down here and it all washes. It's all accounted for.
So what do you need from the board tonight?
I need to make a motion to forfeit $250 from the performance bond bank account into the general fund as an unreconcilable difference.
You
I'll
making that
second
motion?
that.
You made the motion?
I made the motion.
Mike supported it. Any other discussion? Want to do a roll call then?
Yes, I do. Don Beam, yes. Mike Rushing?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes. Motion carried. All right, comments from the board members not already addressed. Excuse me.
I don't have anything.
Have any?
Oh, we got somebody in the
Just,
audience.
it's pretty much a statement. If, was there anything on those solar farms or anything? Anybody said anything?
We're collecting information,
Okay.
and I've been talking to the supervisor at Rayos Township. They're kind of.
Yeah. Well, I was up in Yale and I read their newspaper from the month, and Wales was mentioned in there, but one of the townships around Port Huron, there's a Canadian company that wants to put a windmill farm around there, and they're fighting that.
Yeah.
So,
Kim, have you heard anything more?
I haven't heard anything more.
It's
but
been
those
quiet.
You normally follow the solar, so that's
Yep.
they'll be coming.
All right, any,
You put the moratorium out, but like we'd have to put something like a law, right, to pass if we wanted to prevent it? Is
we
that
have
how
to
that-
have an ordinance in place,
Yeah.
and we'll be working on that soon. Soon as we-
Well, that's, yeah, the planning commission has an ordinance, or they're looking and developing an ordinance, right?
You know, I'm still collecting, Bob and I are still collecting
Mhm.
information. In fact,
I think that's what the planning commission's waiting for, is our township attorney.
yeah, and Richmond is working on one right now, Richmond Township, and I hope to have a copy of that by the meeting Monday, that I could meet with the planning commission, just for their review. So, I don't even think Wales has one in place. Well, they did have one in place, but they had to rework it because they put it in place a couple of years ago, and they found out that's not adequate now with things that are going on. So they've had to bring an attorney in and research theirs and see what amendments they need to make to it.
Scenario, what, okay, they put a farm in and it catches on fire somehow, whatever. What's something like that? We wouldn't be on the, on the thing because,
So many questions that are unanswered yet.
That's just something.
We don't know.
Are the fire departments equipped to handle something like that?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So there you go. All right, anything from the board members yet tonight not already addressed? I hear nothing.
Nope.
I'm gonna make the motion to adjourn at 8:15.
I'll second it.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Dang, I didn't see that
First
coming.
time.